All right, guys, welcome back to the Short Story Long podcast, where we share the work and play of working class Midwestern millennials. I'm your host, Sam Derrickson, joined by
Andrew Dial. What's up, guys? We don't usually do it like that.
I'm sorry, I'm out of practice.
Yeah, you got too much sand in your brain.
So
California.
So back from California, went out there. Hope you guys enjoyed our broadcast from the lake bed. We had fun doing it for you guys. I had planned to do it every day, but as you heard, if you did listen, we had some extenuating circumstances that prevented us from having the time every evening to do it. But I did get a lot of good feedback from you guys, so I really appreciate it. We hope, next year to do it again and bring you even more update and more coverage from the lake bed. So,
well, how were the analytics on that? Was there a lot of views on those episodes, or just about average?
It was above average. It was probably half again better.
Nice.
The final, so that was another thing. Our episodes, in my opinion, are the right length. We're about an hour and a half ish per episode. And out there on the lake bed, I wanted to keep it short and sweet. We did like 30-minute episodes. And I was curious to see how those did versus the longer ones. And I don't know if it's subject matter or length, but the final episode was an hour and a half long where we talked about actually finishing the race. And that had the most lit downloads or whatever of any of the episodes. So maybe we're doing the right thing with these long ones. I don't know, but it just tends to go that long and I don't mind it. So
yeah, I enjoyed, the updates, kind of give you a play-by-play on what's going on, what all your buddies are going through, and you kind of feel like you're there without all the sand in all your joints. So
yeah, the sand was definitely real this year. The wind was a major factor. Last year there was almost no wind, and the dust was just hanging in the air. And I don't know if it's poetic justice or what, but basically the wind was normally about 30-ish miles an hour with gusts over 50.
That's pretty aggressive.
So instead of blowing the lingering dust, it kicked up dust off the ground like the Dust Bowl, and it basically felt like you were in a sandblaster the whole time. So from one extreme to the other, I guess.
And I assume at some point in the next week or two, when Cody gets back into town, we'll do like a final trip home KOH update.
Right. So Cody's in Vegas at the AIM show, which is like a big vendor expo for his industry. He was asked to bring the race car out there for High Lifter to be able to showcase their parts on his machine, how they held up during the race. So he's out there. Peyton got to try a medium steak again the other night. So
like a yearly thing when they go out there, or what?
Well, Peyton is a borderline vegetarian, and she, eats her steak well done or whatever. And last year on the way out, I believe, Randy convinced her to order a medium steak. Well, it came out medium rare, and it just ruined her for a whole year. So Boss Man got a medium steak, and he sent that Snapchat of her attempting to eat a slice of his medium steak. So I don't know how well that went for her, but I know Tom Dial changed my life about eating steak.
I feel like we've told that story.
We have. So, but yeah, so I guess this episode is going to be all about nothing. We're just going to kind of go over what we've been through over the last couple of weeks while we haven't done a podcast. The jet ski episode released today. That one we recorded before we went out. So
yes, and I wanted to touch base on that because there's a few things. It was a 60-degree, gorgeous sunshine day today in Illinois. Between that and listening to the jet ski episode, I am just super on jet ski mode right now, dreaming of the lake.
Yeah. So how jet ski mode are you? What did you do today?
Well, nothing jet ski related, I guess.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to tell me something special.
Well, I did get listener fan mail.
Okay.
On the jet ski episode already.
Okay.
So my cousin Austin, he's a listener. He called in. He's like, "Hey, I'm kind of upset that you didn't mention me in the episode." And I was like, "Why is that?" And I actually had thought of this afterwards. And he's like, "Well, you guys would get new skis and stuff and go up there. You'd have no insurance, no registration. We'd, go up there and ride dirty. He had all of his T's crossed and his I's dotted. And you remember when we were up by Sullivan, they had 2 jet skis, his family did, and him and a friend were up there with us riding. And remember, they were like riding and splashing each other with the jet skis, and the conservation officers basically arrested them.
I don't remember this.
Yeah. So
was it on the family lake day or whatever?
No. We were upriver. I think I had my 1100 maybe, because maybe I didn't have paperwork on that. I remember being super worried. Some of us didn't have our paperwork in order, I know.
Okay.
And Austin left early. We were up the river past Sullivan Marina. Around the corner, there's that big cove.
Sure.
And Austin and his friend left first, and they got pulled over because the conservation officers were getting gas at the
Sullivan Marina.
Sullivan Marina. They got pulled over because they were driving recklessly. He told me that their tickets added up was $5,000.
Holy crap. I did not hear that story.
Surely. I'm sure you heard it at the time. Maybe you just don't remember it. But
$5,000?
$5,000. And he's like, you didn't even mention my $5,000 ticket. So they got tickets because they were under 18 and didn't have the boater safety course.
Okay.
They were driving recklessly and maybe 1 or 2 other things. So they ended up having to go to court over it.
Did they pay the fine?
No. Well, they went to court, and the judge came out and said, why are you guys here? Like, why are you missing school? He's like, this is stupid. And the judge was basically like, okay, this one's for no boater safety course. I'm throwing that out. Seems made up.
Okay.
And then the other one was reckless driving, and the judge said, that's the only way I know how to drive a jet ski is recklessly. So he threw that out, and like they had to pay $400 for the court fee, and that's it.
That's honestly, they got the good judge, I guess, because that could have gone way, way worse.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think that if I did hear that story, I did not commit it to memory because I did not remember that. So Austin, sorry for not mentioning you in that story.
So yeah, he was mad because we would always ride dirty, and he had all his paperwork in order and still almost went to jail over the deal.
Yeah. Well, I guess that happens.
So anyway, so shout out there. But yeah, I on the jet ski subject, I know you're casually looking for a vintage jet ski.
I am. I'd spent some time on Facebook Marketplace today trying to find one.
I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to put the 750 in my ski or put the 550 back in it, leave it stock, and make a deal with Jason on the 750 for his machine.
Sure, yeah.
I just need to talk to him on that. I really don't want to do a motor swap. I think I'm too big for the JS platform. So I foresee me keeping that ski for like kids to ride.
Okay.
And getting something bigger.
So are you still leaning sit down? Or are you thinking a square nose Superjet, newer Superjet, Wave Blaster X2? What are we thinking?
Jason's buddy over by St. Louis, he's got all kind of stuff. I was going to hopefully maybe make friends with that guy and maybe go ride 1 or 2 or something. I'd hate to go buy a Superjet and then not like it either. But
well, I mean, the saving grace would be boss man status. Buy it in the wintertime, get it running, get it riding good, take it out once or twice. You hate it, sell it peak summer, make $1 or $2.
Yeah. I even look at brand new ones. You can buy a brand new Yamaha for like $11,000.
The only downside to that would be only being able to use it a couple months out of the year.
Right. And my lifestyle wouldn't lend to that.
Yeah. And then you'd hate to take
with all the kids and stuff.
Part of the I guess allure for me on these vintage skis is doing that upriver riding, and you can be a little more rough on the holes and stuff. I'd hate to take a brand new hole up the river and right. Scrape it on some trees and stuff.
Yeah, you might have to actually have insurance on something. And then I was listening to the Team Lake Roach episode today, and Jason was talking about riding up the Merrimack in Missouri, and I think I'd like to do that. That'd be fun.
What about the Three Rivers run? Would you do that with me?
Not on a vintage ski, but I would do it on a sit down.
Borrow Boss Man skis and do it.
I'm sure he'd go with us even.
Yeah, that would be a good time.
So yeah, we already did an episode on jet skiing, so I guess we won't get too much into it. But
Before we get into anything else, months ago we had a suggestion about like, I think Jared Yoakum told us that maybe we could make a segment of like upcoming car events, maybe,
okay,
which is something I'd like to do this summer. I saw you shared that the T-Town Cruise Night was coming. What was the date on that?
I don't June. It was earlier than in June than I preferred. I know that because I'm trying to get my Falcon done for it, and I was hoping to maybe get another week or two, but not so much.
So that's coming up. That's probably one of the best events of the year. I've said before that my favorite that I look forward to is the Geckner Brothers Mopar show, but the T-Town Cruise Night is honestly one of the best in the area. It draws a huge crowd, lots of really nice cars, and then obviously the Burnout Pit is what everybody comes there for. So
Yes, everybody's standing around the burnout pit. So it's Friday, June 16th, with a rain out day of the next Saturday, the Saturday after the 17th.
So that's a little ways away, still, but still going to be coming up right away. But like I said, I'd like to do a segment, this spring and summer of like, hey, here's the car events that are coming up. Here's where we're going to be. Here's what we plan to do, things of that nature. So branching off of that, March 3rd, which is a Friday, and 4th, which is the following Saturday, is one of the kind of like the kickoff events of the car year for me personally. Indianapolis Fairgrounds, inside the building there, they have the Mopar Indy Cylinder Head Mopar swap meet. And it's an indoor, it's typically pretty chilly that weekend or whatever. It's inside, and there's a bunch of vendors there. And I mentioned in a previous episode that I've got those steering gear parts coming for the GTX that I'm going to pick up there. Typically, you can find your basic race car type parts, Mopar specific. And, if you have some oddball Mopar parts you're looking for, I found window crank handles for my Dart there. I'm looking for a turn signal lever. I found the HVAC vent like directors or whatever for my GTX there. I found two on the outside. I still need the two middle ones. But you can find all kind of stuff there. Plus, like I said, the vendors, if you have like new parts that you need, the gaskets, seals, nuts, bolts, the reproduction mirrors and lenses and things of that nature, just all your small parts that are kind of hard to get, trying to find the exact name or part number for it. It's really nice to kind of do an old school, go to the guy selling it and say, man, I got a 69 GTX. I need the turn signal lens for the driver's side. And he's like flipping through his little box and he's like, here, to this thing. And it looks exactly like what you need. You can hold it in your hand, feel it, say, yeah, that's what I want, and take it home with you. It's a lot better than, doing it on the internet and seeing a picture that somebody took, with an iPhone or whatever. So that's one that's coming up here pretty quick, couple weeks. I'm really looking forward to that. Like I said, I got a couple parts to pick up there. So,
well, you talk about the car season starting in the burnout thing. The only thing I'm more excited about than jet skiing is probably my Falcon.
okay.
So it has been put in the shop. It's kind of in the way. Got to push it out in the driveway whenever I want to put metal on the plasma table. But I have been working on it and dumping copious amounts of money into it. I've been fundraising hard on it as far as selling junk parts I don't need and I shouldn't say junk parts, just old used parts and all that. Like I've had a bell housing for years, a shatterproof steel bell housing. And I was like, I'm never going to use this. Like I'll use $100. So I put it for sale. Well, I met a guy named Randy Cox, which a lot of people know. I know like Dean and Kyle know him. He's a big Ford guy, and I told him what I was all looking for my Falcon. He's like, I got everything you need. So I drove up there last Saturday morning with my father-in-law and went American picking.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the 9-inch I got off my neighbor that I thought was a direct bolt in,
Not so much.
it is so I need one for like a 65 Mustang or 66, and this is from a 67. It's 2 inches wider. So I bought a Ford 8-inch off of Randy for the axle shafts. So the 8-inch and the 9-inch axle shafts are the same. The brakes are the same. The center section is the only difference.
Okay. So you're going to narrow the 9-inch you have.
So I was hoping to buy the 8-inch, just swap the shafts in and put the drum brakes on it and be done.
Oh, okay.
Well, not so much because it's too wide. So now, I almost hate to cut down a 67 Mustang housing. It's probably worth some money, but I'm going to do it.
Okay. Have you tried listing it, see what you can get out of it, or trade for? Like, surely there's a guy that made the same mistake in the opposite direction as you.
Possibly. I know when I was looking for 9 inches, when I had my 65, they brought big money. Like a 9-inch that could bolt into a vintage Mustang was big money.
I mean, a 67 is still a vintage Mustang.
Yes, I agree. So I was just going to make it easy and cut it down. But,
Yeah, make it easy by completely customizing
we've
it.
narrowed to 9 inches. I was going to reuse the ends the way it's made and stuff. Like, anyway, I won't go into detail because it makes for boring radio. But I think I'm just going to narrow it. Be done
Okay.
with it.
I mean, that's fine. That's
I
totally
have my father-in-law has a 9-inch narrowing jig, and I think it'll take me an evening. I'll just cut an inch off of each side and put it back together and weld it and be done.
There you have it.
So I bought, what else did I get off of him? I bought some 67 front spindles and disc brakes that were in much, much, much better condition than the 73s I bought off
The swap
the
meet.
swap meet. I went to sell those thinking I was going to make big money, and turns out now, in the last 10 years since I've been into vintage Fords, they now reproduce those spindles, and you can buy brand new ones for cheaper than what they used to go for used.
Nice.
So once again, Ford parts aren't worth anything. But my big thing is I need to find black factory steel wheels that are 5-lug, because my car is 4-lug now. And I about had a stroke looking for the prices people are getting out of a factory steel wheel. $120 a wheel.
You can buy new for that, right?
No, new factory reproductions are about $140 a wheel for a steel wheel.
That seems a little ridiculous to me.
Yeah. So I think the Mopar wheels and the Ford wheels are the same. Just looking at them.
Are they same bolt pattern, right?
Yes, same
Yeah.
bolt pattern. The Chevy ones are obviously different, and they have more like a rally wheel look to them. And even if I found some Chevys that for some reason had the same bolt pattern, I don't think I'd put them on, because people would just be like, "Oh, you got the Chevrolet wheels on there. What an idiot,"
For sure.
I think the Mopar ones look exactly the same.
This is a different hubcap, right?
In my opinion, though I'm not a professional. But I really like, I pulled the hubcaps off my Ford, and it had nice black wheels underneath of it. And I was like, yes,
You like the way that
I
looks?
like the way it looks.
Okay.
I also ran into, when you were out in California, major logistical and design issues with how I was doing my turbo.
With
And
the fan and the radiator and everything.
fan and the
or-
radiator, and how an air filter was going to mount on it, and just everything. So I spent all that time. I had that real nice, multiple bin pie cut. All that's been junked. All of it.
God dang it.
Probably 20 hours of tube work. I've junked it all.
It was good practice.
It was good practice. So I ordered more stuff. I was using cheap stainless before,
Right.
and it's known to crack. And so I bought real good, heavy, mild steel exhaust tubing, and I'm going to start over mild steel. I'm going to probably take it all still,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't feel bad tacking it with my MIG welder this
Right.
time.
Right. Get you started anyway.
But the worst part is, and some listeners might be able to relate, is between the throttle valve cable for the AOD, the throttle cable for, between the gas pedal and the carb, which it's going to have a Holley Terminator or Sniper, and the low car shifter, I'm looking at $1,000.
Just for controls.
Yeah, it's insane. But I don't think I don't want a cheap shifter. I just know that doesn't work out great. I'm not gonna. I think I'm gonna spend the money. I feel like.
So why are you, I mean, take a second. Why are we going with low car? Just out of curiosity.
I guess that's the only thing I've seen. My dad has a low car shifter in his Jeep, and I really, really like it.
Uh-huh.
As far as the low car cables, I mean, can you name one other name brand that makes shift cables and stuff?
No, there's a million options for shifters, and I just didn't know specifically why if there was a legitimate reason, or just, is it all cosmetic? Is it functionality? Is it fitment?
We put a low car in my dad's Jeep with the V8, and I just really, really like it. It mounts to the transmission case, solid rod to the shifter, and like there's no adjusting cables and stuff. Like it just works good. It's super smooth. I would be open to some other stuff, but like I'm kind of scared of it's a bench seat car, so I want a longer 12 or 14-inch, 16-inch shifter. I got to decide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want a shorter ratchet shifter that mounts to the floor and cable, and that's just not what I'm going for in that car. I think it would really look good in there, but I'm open ideas. I've not bought anything yet.
I was just thinking about the kill duff like I got in the Dart, or like a winter style shifter. I was just thinking of that for the turbocharged Falcon. Like you with the hood closed, you see a little 4-door bench seat car. Then you look in, and there's this, a low car shifter looks just like a old man, street rod type shifter. But, my car with all 180 horsepower it has, you look in the window and you see that kill duff shifter lightning rod set up, and whoa, what's going on in here? I think that'd be cool for the Falcon too, but it's up to you. I mean, it's your car. I just didn't know if there was a legitimate reason, but I did not remember that you had a bench seat, which does kind of restrict your mounting locations available for a shifter.
Right. And we had an art car, which is a winter shifter in my dad's Jeep before, and it's just got a plastic housing, and it mounts by that plastic housing, and I just right. I just that low car in his Jeep feels so good. But yeah. I think my dad, when we bought his low car shifter, it was $350, and I had a hard time finding a low car shifter under $470 now.
I can believe it. Everything's gone up, so
that's where I'm at there. My first step is to get the car running and driving on 4-lug. Well, maybe not driving. I may put the 9-inch in it. It's just one of those, while I'm going, I just need to put the 9-inch stuff in it because I don't want to have to remake the drive shaft twice.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the priority, but I probably need to work on it as I go. But then the more exciting thing, not more exciting, but another thing I had going on while you're in California is I bought a 6-liter and a 4L80E for my Jeep.
Fair enough.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
You knew that, yeah.
I was trying to think of how to politely tell you that you were gonna, wake up in hell one day for putting a Chevy motor in a Dodge product.
So it gets better. So my father-in-law has always told me I'd go to hell putting Chevy stuff in Fords.
Yeah.
Well, my father-in-law is a Ford guy, but he has a Chevy race car and an Opel race car that both have, the Opel's getting an LS.
Uh-huh.
So we were driving to get those parts. I took him with me, and he said something. I was like, I ought to put that 6-liter in my Falcon. And he looked at me and goes, I wouldn't blame you.
Really?
Yeah, he goes, the technology they got in them LSs, he said, I wouldn't blame you. And I about wrecked the car.
Oh my gosh.
He said if he had one, he would consider putting it in too.
So,
typical boomer Ford guy. Oh, Chevrolet stole the Windsor, the 302 design on there, get the internet thing on that. But
so, Jason is wrestling with life decisions right now. And, basically he went out to California and spent some time with Randy and me talking about, wheeling and everything else. And we may or may not have kind of guilted him into realizing that he's not as skilled with a manual transmission as he would like to think he is, and that the addition of an automatic to his wheeling portfolio would greatly increase his success rate on most obstacles. So I had him convinced to AW4 swap his Jeep, and then you promptly convinced him that he should just LS swap it. So I think that's where he's at now. But the reason I bring it up is I am now wrestling with, do I trade him his old 5.3 that I have planned for the Comanche for his 4.6 stroker for my Comanche?
Have you talked to him about it?
I've mentioned, I asked him, what his, timeline and stuff was, and he's super on Team LS for the Cherokee right now, but he thinks he's just going to put synchros in the AX15, yada, yada. And I asked him, I said, what would you need to have out of that 4.6 stroker? And he basically gave me the typical, I don't know, haven't thought about it. He didn't say it wasn't for sale.
He told me it's not for sale.
But he said he hadn't thought about it, honestly, and he thinks he should just keep it for, whatever, his daily driver down the road. He's going to make a 4.6 5-speed Jeep Cherokee to daily drive, never down the road sometime.
Well, that's what I brought up to him when we were talking budget for the LS swap. Well, what happened is he's like, well, to put an automatic behind my 4.6 stroker, I'm going to have to change exhaust. I'm going to have to change shifters. I'm going to have to change drive shafts. I'm going to have to change the cross member. I'm like, hold up. I was like, if you're going to do all that, just V8 swap it. Like, you're right there at that point.
The only thing you wouldn't do with the AW4 that you would for the 5.3 essentially is motor mounts, right?
Exactly. And a radiator. And that surprisingly kind of took hold. And I asked him, like, budget-wise, we were talking money. And I was like, well, don't forget, you could probably sell your stroker for at least $1,000, if not more. Oh, not for sale. I'm going to keep that and put it in another project. I'm like, okay.
Not sure what project. You know what it would be bitching in? Would be a AMC Rambler all-wheel drive. Like one of those old 1980s.
Yeah.
It would be cool as shit in one of those.
What you need to do is you need to trade him his stroker, his AX15 fixed, and to put into yours, because yours has, some bullshit French manual. Your Comanche.
AX5.
Like I said, bullshit. So put an AX15 in it. You can't put a stroker in front of an AX5.
Right.
So you need an AX15 anyway. You should trade him lock, stock, and barrel. And
I've already got pedals in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd work out great. He'll surely hear this before long, but that would be an amazing swap. And then he would be LS'd by this summer, possibly.
And I could probably do some.
Then he would have his ex-wife's motor in his Jeep, and it'd be like super, poetic.
And double poetic. Instead of putting the 4.6 stroker on ice, it lives on in a unibody, extension of himself.
Yes.
Jason, call into the show and tell us the poetry behind your ex-wife's 5.3 in Dixie and Dixie's X46 in whatever you name my Comanche, which you haven't named it yet.
It's, I think we could talk him into this. It makes sense for everybody involved, but we'll see what happens.
The only kicker is like the Comanche having that V8 rumble versus the inline 6 kind of, low tone. I don't know if I could get by with that, but
you've got all kind of V8s.
But I will say the two pros here is, number one, it would be like a Jeep themed deal, right? So like it would everyone LS swaps them because it's easy.
Right.
It would still be a Jeep, and number two, I wouldn't own a Chevy motor anymore because I'm not a Chevy guy, I'm a Dodge guy. So
there you go.
I don't know. Maybe I won't even talk to Jason. I'll just let him hear this episode and wait for him to call me or whatever. So I don't know. This might work. And if you have an opinion on what engine should go in either Jason's Jeep or my Comanche, let us know.
In my opinion, if you had the parts together, 85% of your LS swap could be done in a weekend.
Right.
You know, your plumbing and your wiring and maybe some shifter and some adjustments and your exhaust would take a little bit, but I don't know. I was super excited to LS swap your Comanche because I honestly feel like it would be a pretty straightforward deal.
The biggest downside to LS swapping any XJ or MJ is the power steering hits the power steering pump pulley hits the power steering box, so you have to relocate that, and then a truck intake, which it has, you have to either lift or cut the hood, which Jason would be so down for in Dixie, but I'm not down for in the Comanche.
Gotcha.
So
you could put a car intake on it, but
Yeah.
I was looking for car intakes for some reason, and
high. They're high.
they're crazy high for some reason.
So
And I think your accessories have to match the intake.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of little nuanced stuff that goes with it, and I just haven't delved that deeply into it yet.
So Josh Stork, who's also a listener and one of our friends, he's got me talked into that 6-liter actually has iron heads
Okay.
that I got. So the first 2 years of the 6-liter had iron heads. My father-in-law has 5.3 heads. So if you put 5.3 heads on them, it goes from like 9.5 compression to 10.5.
Oh yeah.
And then he said to use I think it's Brian Tooley Racing Truck Norris cam.
That is an awesome name for a
really
camshaft. Okay.
So anyway, Truck Norris, and I'm just imagining a 10.5 to 1 compression 6-liter with a cammed up, and we fire it up. I'm just like, yes. So I actually had a supercharger for my Jeep, and I was going to use it, and now I'm not going to. I've actually sold my spare Jeep motor before I came here. I've got like
You did sell it?
yeah,
Nice.
my spare one.
Right.
I still got the one in
Right.
the Jeep.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tear the Jeep down until the Falcon's running. I don't want to have 2 non-running projects coming into spring.
Probably a good idea.
So the Jeep, me and Emma took it out for a spin the other day. It is officially getting death wobble at 20 mile an hour on a rock road. So
Do we decide we replaced the track bar, I thought. But it still has bushings?
we replaced the track bar bushings. I think the axle side's getting egged out now. So I told Randy, I think I'm going to flip the steering over the knuckle. So it's so it has a flatter steering angle. I'm going to put balance beads in the tires, and which I have a funny story about that. And I'm going to replate all the track bar mounts. I think I'm going to put a rock crawler track bar on it, and hopefully that solves the problem. So my knowledge of balance beads, ceramic beads for tires, was that they're expensive. So on my red Jeep, I bought airsoft BBs.
Right. That's what we used to do at AOA all the time.
Dumped airsoft BBs in it, went to go. So this time I was going to get more airsoft BBs. And I was like, let me just look at what ceramic beads cost. It's less than airsoft BBs now.
Is it what are you talking counteract beads, or is it a different brand, or what are you going for there?
I don't, just something I bought off of eBay.
Okay.
I'm going to put, shoot, I'd have to look. I went to the high end. So they have like a recommendation. I want to say I'm putting, that can't be right, 10 ounces in each tire. That seems really high.
It sounds a little high.
Maybe 8 ounces.
8 ounces sounds about right.
I think I'm putting 8 ounces in each tire.
Okay.
So it was cheaper than airsoft BBs of the same weight.
What are we talking? Give me a ballpark here.
Like money wise?
Yeah.
$30
For all 4 tires?
all 4 tires.
That's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I was buying counteract beads, like the name brand ones off of Amazon, and $30 will get you like 10 ounces, I think.
Well, back when I did my Mustang, my 65 Mustang, Cody sold them to me at like cost, and I had like $80.
Those Dynabeads. Dynabeads are for motorcycles, and they're a lot more than counteracts. But yeah. So I mean, heck, I would do that. I'll send me a link on those because I run.
They're all over eBay. Ebay's filthy with them.
Okay, all right.
Um, I'm looking. Bought them off of eBay. I'm looking on my phone now. We need like hold music.
So, so I actually sold a couple things on eBay last couple months. I guess we can talk about that while you're looking through eBay. So I sold a gauge cluster for a Dodge Ram. I had a couple of them left over from trying to fix the problem on my white truck, and basically I got on there. And I've never sold anything on eBay before, and I listed it, whatever. And I apparently I put that I had 2 in stock. I don't remember doing that, but I have 2 of them, so I just maybe I put 2. So they were on there for like a year. I mean, forever. And I had a couple like lowball offers. I had them on there for $300. I had a couple lowball offers for 50 or $100. So, no. Well, a couple weeks before Hammers, I got an offer of $250, and I'm like, yes. I will take it. Like it'd been months since I got an offer. I was like, yes, I'll take it. I'll get rid of it. Great. Shipped it out to the guy. No issues, no troubles. So I wake up, I'm Tuesday morning probably, in Cody's camper out in the lake bed to a, please ship your gauge cluster. And I'm like, MFer, I done did it. Like I've shipped it, and like I'm reading through, and it was for full ask. It was for 300, not the 250. I was like, oh shoot,
hold up!
I forgot. I put 2 of these suckers on there, and like it wanted it shipped before Thursday or whatever. Like eBay gets real butthurt if you don't ship it right away. So I called Dozer, and I'm like, hey, I need you to do me a favor. He's like, sure, what, no problem. And Dozer was like, Johnny on the spot, like, yeah, I'll call you back when I get to your house. 10 minutes later, he calls me back. I give him the code to get in. And I was like, all right, there's a garage door opener on top of the microwave. And so we're FaceTiming or whatever. And on top of my microwave is a little seedling plant or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw it there in FaceTime. I was like, oh shoot. Hey, okay, do me a favor. Open up that cabinet. He opens the cabinet. I was like, take that cup. He takes it. I was like, put some water in. He's like, am I watering a freaking plant right now? I was like, yes, you are.
I like grabbed like a 40-ounce tumbler. You're like, not that big.
I was like, that little plant on the microwave. It's like this like little bitty pot. It's like, I don't know, the size of a silver dollar with one little seedling coming out of it. And he's like, I grabbed way too much cup.
I thought your garage door opener was like hidden in your cups or something. And you're like, now fill it up with water. I'm like, hold up.
Wait, man.
Hey, wait a minute. Oh shoot.
So anyway, he goes and ships the gauge cluster off for me and saved the day there. And then a couple days later, they were calling for 1 million inches of rain, and this podcast studio doubles as an aquarium sometimes. So he come and put all my crap all over the floor up on stools and on the freezer and everything. So if it did flood, it wouldn't get wet, but it didn't flood.
So you're looking at tire balance beads, depending on the weight you get, $22 to $27 comes with the install tool to put them through the valve stem, and new valve stems that are made not to clog up with the beads.
Gotcha. So that's the same way that basically generic counteracts. Then show me a picture. Yeah, that's exactly a generic counteract. So anyway, no, that's great. So balancing.
I felt so silly that I put airsoft BBs in my last Jeep. Did not even consider to check the price on the legitimate product.
Well, back in the day when I was at AOA, airsoft BBs were like, you could get all the airsoft BBs you needed for 44-inch boggers for like $30
in town
at Walmart.
Yeah, you can't get them at Walmart anymore.
Okay, well, thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Anyway, and at the time, the only place to get balancing beads was like Neil Tire for semi tires, and it's like $25 a bag. So you're talking $100 versus $30. That's how we used to do airsoft BBs.
Gotcha. And that was my understanding on it. And then times have changed.
As the wheels of time roll on.
So I'm super excited about the V8 swap for a minute. And then I started researching what I all need to put a V8 in my Jeep. And
correction, to put a GM V8 in a Jeep.
That's true.
And a Hemi is almost plug and play, just saying.
It's The GM is plug and play as well if you want to spend $3,500 on a wiring harness.
Well, yeah. So
the
there's
Hemi wiring harness is like $1,100.
yeah.
You can adapt your Hemi to your factory Jeep transmission.
Gauges. It's
Yeah,
all
the whole works.
Yeah,
So,
so.
I am not doing a Hemi though. So,
guess we just got to do what we got to do.
my
right?
big hang up I wanted to keep was cruise control. And Randy's like, you can have cruise control. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you just do it with the GM drive-by-wire pedal. I was like, but can I do it with the switch on the steering wheel? He was like, no, you have to put in another switch, which all the hot rodders do.
Right.
I won't be able to use the Jeep cruise control thing, but
Which isn't that fantastic anyway.
I was going to go the supercharger route, and I will completely be honest. I was drinking very heavily, and my wife had her friends over and had like a girls' day, and they were all drinking, and I was out in the shop scrolling through Facebook, staying away from the women, and Rick Dozenbrock had posted it for sale. Is in town. I knew the guy. I just messaged him. I'll take it.
Sure.
I think I beat him up $100 on it or something, and he's like, sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you want a 4L80E with it? Yeah, need that too.
Yeah, you bet.
And I quit drinking, and he went to church and went out to eat and all this stuff. So about 4 hours later, I went and got it, and was super jazzed up about that. And then I was like, well, I need to focus on my Falcon. And Josh Stork came over the next day, and he's basically talked me into get the Falcon going first, and that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, it makes no sense to create two unrunning projects like you were saying. So,
but yeah, so I've just been in Falcon mode and funds raising mode, and I just want to get that Falcon going. And now, like, my goal is I have Googled trailer hitches for 62 Ford Falcon.
oh yeah,
So if you know where that's going,
you betcha.
yeah, we're towing jet skis to the lake with the Falcon. That would be amazing, or it will be amazing.
Will be. That's the right language to use, my guy.
So, oh, you want to take a break here? I gotta pee.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll
be right back.
We'll be right back. So yeah, on my side of things,
Oh, we're done talking about me now?
are we done talking about you?
Yeah. For now.
For now. So on my side of things, my GTX is tore apart in the garage.
Oh, what was your goal on that? The spring run?
Spring run.
Which is when?
May, basically my birthday weekend, like May 1st or 2nd or
You
3rd.
should have really said something about that on your car show calendar you talked about earlier.
Yeah. Well, maybe next episode we can bring up the spring run. The spring run is not really like a car event. It's just something that we just get together and do for the Kentucky Derby Day.
Okay.
The girls, they wear their hats or whatever. And
Oh, yeah, I went on that one year.
Yeah.
Amanda, that's the first time I met Amanda.
yeah,
Oh,
back when you had a car.
No, I rode with you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I rode with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she wanted to ride with you, and you were like, no.
No, I just let the air out of my air shocks. And then she went back to her mom and dad's car and was like, he didn't want me to ride with him. And her mom and dad were like, what the hell's this guy's problem?
Sam was playing hard to get, didn't even know it.
Whoops.
At the moment, she knew she wanted you more than anything.
Worked out, right?
I ended up riding with Kyle
Yeah.
and his convertible, and that was a good time.
So anyway, brakes are in for the GTX. I think I mentioned that before.
And I assume that was a disc brake car originally.
My GTX?
Yes.
No.
Oh, it was drum?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both converting. Look at us go.
Yeah, I mean, just moving into the 20th century here.
Damn kids and drum brakes did fine for years.
Yeah, they did fine until I about killed a guy on a motorcycle when he was in my lane. So, anyway, I was planning on doing that tonight because it was such a beautiful day today.
Oh yeah.
And Dozer texts me, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" Like, yeah, I would rather do that than work in the garage. So
We got to change that. We need to like get work days.
we do need work
Like
days.
Cody had work days going up to KOH. Like it's time for just Sam muscle car work days.
Yep. One night at my house, one night at your house. We need
Yes.
to do this. We schedule this. All right. So my girlfriend doesn't listen, so she can't make a calendar note. But does Laren listen?
No.
Okay. Well, shit.
She's listened to more than your girlfriend, but not regularly.
More than zero. So
Yes.
got it. Anyway, yeah. So that's next on the chopping block is getting brakes put on that. Just not really sure what all goes into that, but I do know I have to change master cylinders, and that requires bleeding brakes. So that would be a really, really good wrenching day is having you come over.
I know you've had this happen, but have you ever bought something and if you would have bought it 1 year older or 1 year newer or something, your life would have just been way easier?
Lots of things. The GTX is not one of those things.
So on my Falcon, to use the 67 Mustang brakes, if I had a 63 or newer Falcon, they would bolt on. But since I have a 62, I have to replace all the suspension components with 63 and newer Falcon suspension,
Gotcha.
which is pretty much the same as the Mustang, except for the center steering link on the steering. So it's like one of those, once again, 1 year newer would have been a lot less headaches.
Nothing nice, man.
So anyway, we'll go back to you. I just wanted to bring that up.
I mean, it's a valid point. My '05 Ram is that way. It's like one of those 1 year deals. 96 XJs are that way.
Yeah.
Shoot, I can't even think of everything now. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that was that way. Like
I know, like Clayton's Camaro we talked about on the other episode. If it had been 1 year newer, it'd have had tune port.
yeah, my Grand Cherokee have been 2 years newer. It had a different engine and the different dash and stuff. And I don't know, just basically
You just don't know that stuff when you buy it. Like you don't know until
Right.
you get into it. And
yeah. So anyway, that's that. Speaking of which, the white truck got a tailgate this
I
week.
saw that on the Snapchat machine.
Yes.
Looks
yes.
good. Is
So,
that going for sale? Or are you keeping that? Or
You know, I'm torn. I was gonna sell it and buy Kyle's truck, and now you're all like,
Hey.
"Dur." I was in line before you, mother.
whatever.
So anyway, you're all like, "I'm gonna trade you my '08 for your whatever Kyle's year is, 12 or whatever it is," and now I'm thinking I should probably be saving money for other goals that I have, and there's really nothing wrong with my '05. And if I'm going to have the Grand Cherokee fixed up, I don't really need a nice vehicle to bebop around in. I just need something to tow my junk to
right.
Bowling
Basically,
Green.
be like a farm truck. You ought to put a flatbed on it.
No, what a great idea.
Damn.
And our life has come full
I
circle.
mean, you can always put it for sale for too much money.
Well, that's normally what I try to do. That's really all I got going on that. I did buy yesterday. I sent you guys a Snapchat, baited Snapchat, waiting for you guys to comment on it. I have an addiction to used tires.
I was waiting for a blow up
A blow up? What?
Yeah,
Oh, from Boss Man?
from Boss Man.
He's busy. He's preoccupied.
Okay.
Had he been home, he probably would have blow up. So I bought more used tires yesterday. I was, right place, right time. I was at a customer's shop, and he had a customer that was getting brand new, like 35 something BFG AT3s, gorgeous freaking tires on his Jeep. And he had some kind of Arturo junk mud train on him, and he had one brand new one, two good one, like two decent ones, right? So he had 5 tires because obviously the spare was brand new. And he was like, "Timmy, you need to find me somebody to buy these tires." And Tim looked at me and he's like, that guy will buy them. I'm like, I don't need any damn tires. And I looked at him like, though they're 18s, I need 17s. Because I was just the other day, I was telling Timmy, find me some good 17-inch all-terrains or whatever. And he's like, he'll buy them. I was like, they're 18s. I can't use them. And so the customer goes, if somebody offered me $400 for these damn things, I'd just let them have them. And I'm like, man, I wish they were 17s. Then I got to thinking, I got a set of 18-inch rims for 8-lug Dodge in a box, either in my storage unit or at Cody's building. Not sure. I got shit everywhere. So I was like, man, I don't know. Are they loud? And he's like, well, they got a noise to them, so they're probably loud as shit. But anyway, I was like, I don't know. And I asked, so you'll take 300 for them, right? And he's like, oh, and he like just flips his shit. Like, they're $10,000 for the tire. You know how people get. And so anyway, I was like, I don't really need them. He's like, well, make me an offer. So I pulled $300 out of my wallet. I was like, 300 will buy them, right? And he's like, damn you, and he takes some money. I was like, nice.
How tall are they?
They're 305, 70, 65, 18s.
Nice.
So they're like 33s essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, shit, for $300, hard to go wrong.
It.
So the only thing that I don't know is if I need lug nuts for those aftermarket wheels that I got.
Yeah, that gets expensive at $2 a piece, and
Amazon, baby.
Yeah, that's true.
I bought some for the GTX off of Rock Auto, a 20-piece lug nut set because I'm switching to right-hand studs with the disc brake.
Oh.
And I bought right-hand studs for I'm just to knock them out, put new studs in the rear. So I bought all new lug nuts for the GTX, and it was like you had to buy 20 of them, but they were like 60 cents a piece if you bought 20 off of Rock Auto. So I might, normally get the spline lug nut kits for razors and other vehicles and trailers and stuff for aftermarket wheels. I get those on Amazon pretty reasonable too. So
have you has there been any progress on your Hemi as far as
I do not know. I plan on trying to get to Crossroads early this Friday and just kind of scoping it out and being like, so where's the Hemi coming along? Just kind of get a feel for it. And other things that I have other people doing for me. I got a call while I was in California that the chrome is done for Dad's motorcycle. So tomorrow will be Thursday. So it'll be a week ago when this podcast comes out. Dad's going to run over to Quincy and get the chrome and get it picked up and get it brought back to the guy putting the motorcycle together. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what that stuff looks like. The guy is super, super top notch dude. I've seen some of examples of his work, and I felt like the price was reasonable. All things considered, a little more than I wanted to spend, but I kind of have an idea of what goes into the chroming process and the way everything is shot up price wise across the board. And from what I understand, there's a extreme amount of, disposal and, all kinds of regulation that goes into the chemicals that they use. So while it was more than I wanted to spend on it, I don't feel like it was out of line. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going.
Which I still have a pile of motorcycle parts that need to be powder coated at my shop.
Right. I think you have it all, right?
Yeah, some of it's black and some of it's like eggshell. You might have to remind us. It's been a while.
I don't know. Just shoot me a Snapchat or whatever.
Your biggest problem is when you tell my wife it's not a hurry, because that gets.
Well, as long as it's done, before the end of April, really. Well, before the beginning of April will be better because there's a show in the end of May that I want to take it to.
Maybe me and you can just powder coat them.
Hell yeah, why not?
Just come out. We need to start doing one day a week hot rod. Me and Jerry have been doing Thursday nights, which I know Thursday's not a good day for you.
No day's a good day for me, but I can carve out a day.
Oh my!
At least every other week. We could just end this podcast and we could be at your house right now doing it.
Could still happen, honestly.
Yeah?
Why not?
Because I got to be up early in the morning.
Who doesn't? Time is it? We started this early. It's only 8:30.
It is only 8:30.
We could go work for 2 hours and you could still be in bed at a reasonable time.
You live like an hour away from here.
No.
Anyway, we can reconvene after the podcast.
That's a no.
We'll talk about it. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of like my stuff that is in progress in my life, I guess. What about you?
Something else I have written down is that so we have a ton of show ideas that I don't feel like could be full shows.
Okay.
One thing I wrote down was cup holders.
Cup holders. You want to go on a cup holder rant?
Yeah, you could even go on a Sam page. I mean, I don't even know if we've seen a Sam page yet.
We have not seen a Sam page.
You're too professional on this.
I tried to be really professional, and maybe that's the wrong thing to do. I don't know. But
I mean,
I'm not even prepared for this rant.
Miley Cyrus doesn't get famous by being professional. She gets famous by being crazy.
This is true. So, shit. So I guess my cup holder, like, complex started when I bought my first Cherokee. When I bought Ryan Brandt's cousin's Cherokee, the mean green with the back cut off. And anyone who knows anything about Cherokees knows that those are an optional aftermarket add-on. If you want to hold a cup in a Cherokee, you got to buy a plastic cup holder that goes over the emergency brake to hold a cup. And it's substandard. I mean, it is very...
How they designed a vehicle to haul kids to soccer practice and didn't put cup holders in it blows my mind. No wonder why Chrysler's about broke.
Yeah, for sure.
Idiots.
So I have a love-hate relationship with cup holders in my life for multiple reasons. I mean, I can totally understand where you're coming from. You know, if you're in an older vehicle, for instance, I had that 96 Chevy half-ton. I totally get it. Tumblers were not a thing in 1996. Totally understand. That's fine. But I haven't found any cup of any vintage that still fits in their cup holders, right? So like tumbler, I'm okay with it. You can't get a tumbler in the cup holder, that's fine. But when I go to Dairy Queen and I order a chicken strip basket meal, the $5 lunch or whatever.
Will you take me to the Dairy Queen?
So what's it come with? It comes with a sundae and a medium drink.
I know where this is going.
Neither one of those fit in the cup holders of a 96 Chevy half-ton. And the reason I do not own my 96 Chevy half-ton anymore is because I was turning off of off of Wabash onto Walnut.
With your chicky strips.
With my chicky strips next to me, bench seat, chicky strips
minding your own business.
Doing nothing wrong, Jesus. And I take a right-hand turn, and my Dr. Pepper falls out of the cup holder onto the floor, bursts open, Dr. Pepper everywhere. I whip into the computer place there, the parking lot, slam on the brakes. I'm just so mad. Guess what? My chicky strip basket slides off of the bench seat into the Dr. Pepper covered floor.
No.
I was just so livid. I swing open the door. Oh shit. I swing open the door and I throw all the freaking fries and chicky strips all over the parking lot. I text Jeremy Shore. I'm like, do you still want this piece of shit Chevy? And he's like, hell yeah, I do. Sold it to him right there on the spot. Which reminds me, that's how I sold the CJ5 and the Jeepster. I was so pissed off that day at Badlands. I was like, $500, get them both out of my face. I'm just pissed. I'm just done with it.
Yeah, and I sell projects for a loss. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, that's when I learned my lesson, guy. So anyway, cup holders and most older things just suck. What else? So the Dakota that I had, my first vehicle, the cup holders were decent, but not terrible. I mean, better than a 96 Chevy, better than a 96 Cherokee. Dodge cup holders, second gen Dodge cup holders, garbage. Third gen Dodge cup
Any
holders.
cup holder that deploys out of the dash is junk. Change my mind.
I'm trying to think of something so no, because the Caravan
The
cup holders
Caravan. Okay, all right.
they deploy out of the center console though.
Well, my Town and Country, they come out of the dash and
And
out of the center console.
cup
There's
holders
like
for days.
16 cup holders in that van.
So in old cars, so like my Dart, your Falcon, my GTX, they didn't even have cup holders. They had a little ring on the glove box lid that when you open the glove box, you could, I mean, it was like a 16th of an inch deep that when you were at a drive-in movie, you could set a beer can there. Not really sure what they were going for on that, but I'm assuming that back in 1969 or whatever, you didn't get to go drinks. It wasn't a thing. Like you went to somewhere and you ate your meal and drank your drink.
Which mostly at home.
Okay, sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, they had drive-ins, but then they would like set the little tray
Yeah.
on the window.
When you went to the sock hop.
Yeah. So anyway, driving these old cars, my girlfriend and her parents and most people in the car community are like, "Oh, just put it between your legs." Well, I don't have the coordination to do that. I cannot have a open container in between my legs while I am steering and shifting and be able to apply the correct pressure with my knees not to either crush it, spill it, whatever. And I just, my Dart doesn't have sway bars, so, it kind of body rolls pretty bad while I'm driving. And
My Falcon even has sway bars.
So I get all crossed up and I get a wet lap and it just it infuriates me. So like I have been on the search now for cup holders in the GTX since I got the
like
GTX.
Factory cup holders?
No, there's no such thing.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
Marlene went to a car show once and she saw like this really nice upholstered thing. I'm sure the guy just made it. But this really nice upholstered, cup holder deal, just 2 cup holders, and it slid with had a little panel that slid between the center console and the passenger seat. And it was just a nice little upholstered thing that looked really nice. It hold 2 cups. Well, my plan for the GTX is the center console lid opens up, and I don't really use it for anything. Like I put the brochures they put in your car shows, I just shove them in there, and there's a couple like spare bus fuses or whatever, but I do have the glove box insert that I can put in there now that I can put all that crap in there. So I have like this closed cell foam that comes in like scan tool work centers, like they package all the stuff in there with this closed cell foam to keep everything from moving. I've been scavenging onto that over the past couple of years, and my plan is to do a Jeff Derrickson and like custom cut it to go down in that center console box and fit like completely flush, and then cut 2 cup holder rings out and then go to like Walmart or like Boat US or whatever and get the little plastic cup holder cups, stick down in there, close the lid on the center console, looks factory, open it up, bam, tumbler, thank you. Drink holders.
Dude, if you spill a tumbler in that car, I bet you'd just go ill.
Yeah, I mean, so I only, in that car, I only take the tumblers with the lids, and like I'll like have the silicone straw, shove it down in the lid and then close the lid. And then I don't really worry too much about drinking while driving. And then when we get to our destination, then I open up the lid and I can drink my unsweet tea through the straw at that time. So
like your Dart and like my Falcon, spill a little tea. Oh, well.
Yeah. I mean, the Dart, no big deal. The GTX, kind of a big deal. So
yeah.
Anyway,
are you gonna have a Hemi car that's not slow? Are you gonna change the carb or anything? Or
it is getting a new carburetor. Not sure which carburetor yet, but it is going to get a new carburetor. The Demon's going away. It has some pretty. I mean, it's got some pretty decent parts in it. Dean's gonna go all the way through it for me, freshen up, new bearings, new everything, new seals. And the transmission is fully built. I mean, it's going to put the power to the ground. Whatever power there is to put to the ground is going to get put to the ground. We're also going to, I don't know if it'll happen before the spring run, but I have a third member with a sure grip in it that he's supposed to be going through for me.
So it's one wheel right now?
It's one wheel right now.
That's sad.
So he is going to freshen up the third member, and it came with like, I don't know, 391s or something silly. And he's got like 323s. He's going to, they're brand new Richmond gears. He's going to switch me because 391s is something that he wants, but not great for a cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to switch me for some like 323s and freshen up that sure grip and have it ready to go in. And my hope is the rear end that's in the GTX, like when I tested it, when I first bought the car, it acted like an open rear end, but not exactly like I thought an open rear end should act. And I've come to find out now that that's what a worn out sure grip acts like.
Gotcha.
So my fingers are crossed. I'm going to pull that out to put the freshened up one in, and it's a worn out sure grip. So I'll have another sure grip third member on the shelf ready to freshen up for another vehicle. So that's my hope there. But yeah.
What's your dart got in it? Is it a sure grip?
373 sure grip, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. So just, I mean, Mopars, you got to have spare parts because they're fucking junk. So
fair enough.
But yeah, so that's what's going on with my cars. This weekend, I have to put glow plugs in the Volkswagen. That car, as much as I love that Volkswagen that Amanda drives, it's a freaking money pit. Like every time you turn around, it needs something. I've got a headlight sitting upstairs I got to put in it, and 4 glow plugs upstairs I got to put in it. When we got that real cold snap, check engine light come on, glow plug, open circuit, whatever. So you're going to replace one, you got to replace all 4. Luckily, they're easy to get to. I've been spraying them down with the PB Blast or whatever, trying to get them not to freeze in their bores because that could be a nightmare to handle. But I got that going on, and then it also needs another rear alignment. We put the wider tires on it. We've been fighting that thing since we put wheels and tires on it, trying to get it to drive straight, chasing down problems, had some blown out bushings and aligned it a couple different ways. And I think I finally found the right combination of caster and toe for the rear end, because it is eating rear tires like crazy, and it still drives like crap. So plan is to get the glow plugs put in that and the rear alignment done. Just
Does she drive it to work every day, or she just drive it between her house and yours?
She's been driving to work every day. It won't start when it's cold because the glow plugs now. So when it was real cold a couple weeks ago, and then obviously next week it's gonna be cold. So I was gonna do it, a couple weekends ago, but then got busy and got ready for KOH. And then I was gone for KOH and the whole thing.
Right, and you got disc brakes now to put on your car, so very important things.
I mean, there's always something. I mean, who doesn't have a million projects going all the time, right?
I couldn't imagine having a life that didn't have that many projects.
I think about that every once in a while. Like, what do people do when they go home and don't have stuff to fix? I mean, like, what do you even do? I know what they do.
Sports.
They go home and watch sports.
Sports ball.
So
go sports team.
Speaking of sports, what was just this weekend, Dozer?
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. Did you watch it?
I did. I did not plan on watching it, but we ended up at my mom and dad's house for supper. And after supper, they're like, "We're gonna watch the game," and I was like, "Whatever." So, poured me a rum and coke and sat there and watched the Super Bowl. So, and accidentally got into it. And I'm like,
yeah, I don't really watch football anymore, but I did watch most of the Super Bowl.
When you see a 300-pound man slam into another 300-pound man, and it's just like, ooh, even if you're not a sports fan, it's like, ouch.
Yeah, that definitely looked like it hurt. But no, Amanda wanted to watch the Chris Stapleton opening at National Anthem. We actually were taking a nap and didn't get it turned on by the time it happened. But we did watch it on Facebook afterwards. I thought that was super good. I don't know what you thought about it, but I thought it was super good.
I thought it was the halftime show.
No, The Chris.
Sorry. Oh,
Jesus, listen, Linda.
Jason's texting me about jet ski.
The Chris Stapleton national anthem.
I think we started watching after it.
We haven't seen it.
But
It's
the
been all over
internet is
Facebook.
all the rage, yeah.
Anyway, and then the other thing is she wanted to watch the halftime show. So anyway, we watched it. My biggest takeaway from the whole game itself was the Chiefs paid some serious money to the referees and gave the quarterback, after he hurt his ankle at halftime, gave him some seriously good drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know what they gave him, but it was seriously good drugs. Because I guess afterwards, like I saw some interviews with him afterwards, his eyes were all darty, and he just looked like he was out of it. But there was a couple instances where he couldn't find the open receivers or whatever, so he ran the ball like several yards for first down a couple of times. Like, damn, dude, getting the MVP trophy for real this time. So, then the other thing, so like, first off, what were your thoughts on the halftime show with Rihanna?
I mean, it's whatever. I mean, you can pretty much expect something weird anymore.
Right.
I didn't pay that much attention to it. I was honestly looking for Falcon parts at that point on Marketplace and drinking rum and cokes. It was whatever. You know, you get the whole every year worst halftime show ever. You know, on Facebook, all these people.
Oh yeah.
It's whatever. It was strange, but
so
it's always strange anymore.
So I actually didn't hate it. I actually liked it. I'm not a Rihanna fan, but I do like some of her music, and I thought she was a good performer. And both Amanda and I thought that she looked pregnant while she was performing. I thought it was strange, like the floating iPhones and stuff, and all the dudes in the white coats or whatever. But I will tell you that my favorite part of the Super Bowl has always been the commercials, and I thought they were really good this year. My favorite one was the Tubi commercial where they like changed, like it made it look like whoever was in control of the remote like was totally screwing up the channel.
Mm-hmm.
That marketing genius right there. And then some of the commercials, they're always weird. And I read a thing where like a bunch of brands collabed to like save money. So like they all
like
got
Coors Light and Bud Light.
Yeah, and then like Netflix and GM and Michelob and somebody else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they like,
it was like Blue Moon, and there was like a commercial that had like 3 beers in it. It was
yeah.
like,
So I guess the idea was like all these brands got together and they collabed and pooled their resources because Super Bowl ads obviously aren't cheap.
yeah.
But my second favorite part is it reminded me why I love the effing internet so much, because we're sitting there watching the Super Bowl and Amanda was like, is Rihanna pregnant? I don't know. So I'm like Googling, is Rihanna pregnant? Blah, blah, blah. And didn't really get anywhere. We watch another quarter, and fourth quarter starts, and I get back on my phone because I'm bored, and I'm scrolling through Instagram, and a quarter is 15 minutes long, and 15 minutes after the freaking halftime show ends, the memes, they're just rolling in. And my top favorite ones is they had like Mario and Yoshi like Super Smash Brothers like fighting on those iPhones, like Super Smash Brothers, like that was one of my favorites. And then like there was one, and I've seen like the video meme before, and it's like an alien, like a really shitty looking alien, like in a disco with flashing lights and stuff. And it was like Rihanna's baby during the halftime show, bouncing around. It's like, I was like, damn it, 15 minutes go by and the internet is just running wild with the memes, man. I just like, it just from like, people are so creative and they come up with these memes just instantly, just literally. It's like, it would have taken me 15 minutes to even find like the actual pictures to put in the meme, not let alone build the meme and put the captions and everything and then post it and let it go viral. Like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? So the internet just never fails to disappoint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen a few that they were like saying that the guys in white were like Chinese spy balloons and stuff like that, and just
I
there's
think
all
I
kinds.
think Nate Thompson's my hero.
I agree.
So Nate Thompson, if you're listening, keep
He's,
up the good work, my man. I tried to find it this morning in the Wednesday morning meeting. He made a post about like, I'm drinking during the Super Bowl, as I always do, and my unwelcome conspiracy theories for the halftime show are as follows. And he had like 4 or 5 like Rihanna's a red blood cell and all the dudes are white blood cells
yeah,
attacking her. Like he had like 3 or 4 different conspiracy theories already about the halftime show, but I couldn't find the post. So Nate, if you're listening, please tag me in that post so I can go back and read it because I was laughing my ass off just sitting there watching the Super Bowl, reading your Facebook post. So
his are always prime for quality entertainment.
he posts a bunch, and I appreciate seeing his stuff on Facebook.
So I listened to the Free Beer and Hot Wings show,
Yeah.
and the day after the Super Bowl, they always have the funny Super Bowl commercial segment.
Uh-huh.
Didn't do it this year. They're like, there was no funny commercials.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't even do it.
They didn't find any of them funny?
The only thing they talked about was the one where they did like the point of view on the dog with the family growing up.
Okay.
Did you see that one? Oh, they said that was like good, but kind of tugged at the heartstrings, and that was about all they talked about. They're like nothing else was funny.
I didn't think I didn't think any of them were funny, but I thought a few of them
But they're
were
like
good.
known for being funny.
Yeah, that's true. I thought a few of them were good, but like the ones that tried to be funny were just not funny at all. Like the one with is it Ben Stiller or whatever, like dumping Pepsi on his head.
Yeah, that was strange.
I was like, what the hell am I even watching?
It's like, how much money did they have to pay him to do that?
Yeah, I mean, for the right money, I'd dump anything on my head.
Shoot,
So.
$20 is $20.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right, baby. Oh shoot. So anyway, yeah, that's that. I don't know. The Super Bowls, whatever. I don't really watch sports anymore. I used to really be into football. But ever since it got political, it just doesn't really hold any interest for me. And I'll tell you what put the nail in the coffin. There was a meme I read. Basically, a kid was playing or was watching somebody play some video games on the internet, like kids do. YouTube, people stream their video games on the internet. And the meme or whatever was the dad goes up to the son and he's like, "Man, why are you watching people play Minecraft on YouTube? You can literally go over there and play Minecraft on your own game console." And the kid was like, "Why do you watch football? You can literally go outside and watch football." I was like, "Damn, burn." So anyway, yeah, I don't really watch sports, but
Me neither. I think it might hinder me like in business and life
you need that social
because like
interaction.
you go like talk to the vice president of the bank. You'll run into like, hey, who do you got winning the Super Bowl? Like, don't even know who's in the Super Bowl.
Your mom.
Yeah, her mom's winning the Super Bowl.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I've got a hot rod I'm building, so I just don't
I'm busy. Thank
have
you.
time and effort and energy to put towards sports usually. But we've talked about it for 15 minutes on our podcast, so
I'll tell you what's cool is like being able to try and have that conversation and like I not always but sometimes like I'll try to be like yeah which it was on a movie or something but like oh man I really hope they score a lot of baskets in their football game or whatever.
yeah.
And like I every once in a while I'll try to throw that in there like because Brent and Kyle will be talking about football and talking like, oh, this guy's stats and that guy's stats. I really give a shit. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah. And so how many baskets did Tom Brady score in his football match the other
Yes.
night? You know what I mean?
There's a meme about that too. Where it's that kid with the thumbs up. It's like when you're working on your race car and your buddy's trying to talk about how many baskets Tom Brady scored in his hockey match, and it's just a
Yeah.
kid with 2 thumbs up.
Cool, dude. Oh, shoot.
Man.
Anyway, I don't know. Something else I like to talk about is how awesome my girlfriend is.
Okay.
So before we recorded this podcast, she sends me a picture in text message of okay, first of all, Valentine's Day, we had that. That was a thing, and we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. We think it's a scam put on by
Mm-hmm.
Hallmark to sell cards and flowers, right? So shout out to her for not making me buy her a dozen roses, blah, blah, blah. So today she sends me a picture of an old, like, 50s four-door, I think it's an Oldsmobile. I don't know. And she says, Dad says we need to buy this. It's got new interior, whatever, $5,000 or whatever. And we were in a group Snapchat, with Jeremy Sherwood, Tim and Chris Gebhardt, and Bailey, Sherwood's girlfriend, and all those people that we all hang out with over there. And Tim always says that Sherwood and I won the girlfriend lottery because our girlfriends like cars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about that, like, my girlfriend sent me, like, most girlfriends are like, you can't buy that freaking car. And my girlfriend's like, we should buy this car. Like, I have to tell my girlfriend, I don't think we need to buy this car. So, like, that's pretty cool. And Sherwood, actually, have you seen his new car?
He added me on Facebook last week,
So,
but I couldn't tell you what he drives or anything like
well,
that.
he drives my old 98 Chevy, and then he's got a 77 square body with an LS in it. Well, he just bought a 70, well, I guess say just bought. This last fall, he bought a 79 Lincoln Continental two-door with 53,000 original miles, and it's been parked since 1988.
Nice.
And it is just a land yacht, man. It is cool. And he's been going through it. He cleaned out the interior. He found all kinds of cool shit in there. And he's draining all the varnished gas out of the gas tank tonight. And he's going through it, he's going to make it a cruiser. It's going to be really cool. So I'm pretty excited to see that on the road this summer too.
We should be over there doing that instead of this podcast.
We can include Sherwood into the Wrenching Wednesdays or whatever we're gonna make it be. I don't know. So, I don't know. What else? What else, Dozer?
I'll have to look at my list here.
How many pictures do you have on your phone?
How do you know?
Well, on an iPhone, you just click on your little photos button, and you go to your albums, and it tells you the total number of photos in each album.
About 7,000.
So on the way home from California, I had like 5,200, and I am down to 3,052.
Nice.
So I take a lot of pictures for work. Like, if a guy's like, hey, do you have a blah, blah, blah hammer? And I'll just take a picture for the text message and send it to him a text message. Well, the phone saves it. And I just have just hundreds of those pictures saved in my phone. So I went through as I was bored, driving down the road, riding, passenger down the road, deleted all those pictures. So 7,000, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly car stuff related, I guess. Or do you have a bunch of
Just
work
everything.
pictures too?
Work as in tractors.
Right.
Let's see here. Got like the Idiocracy Paradox, Dave Ramsey, dad jokes.
Well, I told
Cup holders was on there.
I told Nate Fredericks we need to have him on here for a dad jokes episode.
Yeah.
He has some dad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has some dad jokes. So we'll have to do that for an episode, but I think right now we're kind of grasping at straws. So
Yeah, I'm about over it, honestly.
Oh shoot. Well, I guess
If
guys,
you made it this far, sorry.
yeah, we definitely apologize for wasting your day, evening, whatever weekend.
Yeah, if you got suggestions on who we should have on the show, like if we talk about somebody else, like we ought to try to get Dean on the show.
And I thought about that. The only problem is after doing the live on location in the Hammertown, that whole mobile setup is less than ideal. I need to do something different with microphones. It had a lot of feedback, and there was like I don't know. It just sucks. So I don't really want to have him down here because I feel like he needs to be chain smoking while he's doing this. and I don't really want them chain smoking in my basement. So, but if you want to be on the podcast, let me know. Get a hold of us, and we will be glad to have you on here. We can either call you in or you can come down to the studio. We'll get you on here, and if you got any suggestions for topics you want us to reach out and talk about something specific or get our opinion on, we're experts on our opinions. So feel free to reach out to us. You can get a hold of us on Facebook at the Short Story Long Podcast, or you can email us at askshortstorylong@gmail.com. Don't forget to share this with, maybe not this episode, but maybe an episode you like with one of your friends, or some you don't like, you can share this episode with. But basically, we thank you guys for tuning in for all of our shenanigans. We really enjoy doing this. And we are always open to feedback and suggestions. So until next time, guys, we'll see ya.
See you later, guys.